Good afternoon, everyone, and God bless you. My name is David Bisono, and I am Salier's Religion Marketing Manager, and we're so excited to welcome you to today's webinar, Connecting to the Holy Year of Mercy, using We Believe and We Live Our Faith, Catholic Identity Editions. And today we have the honor, privilege, and blessing of having with us John Collins. John Collins is a national catechetical consultant for William H. Sadler since 1972. John has been involved in religious education and has been a teacher, principal catechist, and DRE. John has presented at many conferences in numerous dioceses around the country. John has a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education from Worcester State University and a Master of Education from Lesley University. John provides many presentations for Catholic school and parish leadership, also provides practical ideas, strategies, and activities to help Catholic school teachers and parish catechists engage students as they learn more about their Catholic faith. So, welcome, John. How are you?
I'm very well, and yourself?
I'm blessed. We're so happy to have you with us. Um, so, John, they're all yours.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Just want to clarify one point. I have been with Sadler for a number of years, but it's only recently, since January, that I've come on as a full-time national religion consultant with Sadler. So I've been mostly up in the Northeast. I'm talking to you today from Massachusetts. I live about 23 miles west of Boston. And it's a beautiful day up here today, a beautiful fall day, which is unusual. So hope you're having a nice day where you are. Um, I thought I just wanted to give an idea of why this presentation came about. Um, when the announcement first came of from the Pope of having a extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy, um, I thought about my role as a consultant working with parishes and catechists. How can I help them to connect to the Holy Year of Mercy, knowing that we're not going to be teaching this all year long? And so I put together a correlation, if you would. I went through the books and looked to see, where does mercy come out in our books? What kinds of activities, but what are the connections that we're going to be or could be making um, with the value or the virtue mercy. And so I put together a document, not too long, about 5 or 6 pages. Um, and then it was thought that this could possibly be something that would be helpful to DREs, catechetical leaders, and so forth. And so that's where it came about. I was doing something for myself personally that could help me in my role, and then it was felt, gee, this could probably help people in their roles as well. So that's how this came about. Let's see. Um, and I know today we probably have a number of people here with different roles. We probably have the DREs and catechetical leaders, principals perhaps, catechists, maybe teachers in Catholic school, maybe even interested parents. And I know a number of my Sadler colleagues are listening on board today too. So I think when we think about connecting to the Holy Year of Mercy, um, are we going to be mentioning the Holy Year of Mercy? Or are we going to be calling attention to it? Are we going to be highlighting events during the Holy Year? I think it's going to probably be all of that, but I think the key that we need to think about is, how can we live the Holy Year of Mercy? And we can do that with the programs that we have, our We Believe and We Live Our Faith, easily, as well as some other activities which I will be sharing with you today as part of this presentation. So I think of the presentation today from the perspective of your role. A leader or someone who's trying to do a job as a catechist or a teacher, So depending on where you're coming from, things will look a little different for you. And so I think the content of today is going to be looking at the Extraordinary Jubilee, which is the official title, um, looking at the Holy Year for busy catechists, a reality check on some things, suggesting some talking points about the Holy Year for busy catechists. And I want to say that I know, as I said, different people with different roles, but we are all catechists, and so I'll be using that term throughout. Looking at the connections and we believe and we live our faith, specifically in the correlation, and then the handout that I believe is going to be made available to everyone that then can be used to help support the Year of Mercy celebrations within your programs. And as I looked at this presentation, I took I'm sure you've all heard, the KISS approach, keep it short and simple. Well, I'm keeping it specific and simple. I think I could have gone overboard and looked at mercy and forgiveness and empathy and lots of other related virtues, values, but I tried to keep it to the concept and the term mercy to make it doable. I think that's something that we need to think about in terms of celebrating the year. What's going to be doable for us in our programs and as catechists? I'm not going to be giving a webinar on what is the Year of Mercy and all the background and the history and the tradition. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be a little thought about what it is, but how are we going to live that in our programs? In our lives, we have lots of events, sporting events, birthdays, weddings, and award ceremonies, first communions, confirmations, even ordinations. We have lots of events. But sometimes I think that we have milestone events. Obviously, a Super Bowl, the Olympic Games that come around every 4 years, 21st birthday, 25th anniversary, 50th anniversary, jubilees, which I think we don't hear that word too often. However, for those in religious life, we do hear them celebrating their 50th, jubilee as a sister or a priest. I know a very dear friend of mine is a sister of St. Anne, and just last year celebrated a 50th jubilee, which was a very special day with special celebration, with some reminders of her vocation, symbolism, and all of that came in. Centennial celebrations, cities, towns, churches. I was just in a church recently with a workshop, and they were getting ready to have their 50th anniversary of their parish. And so certain events come along with milestones. The most popular, I think we all connect to, is the Olympics. And when you think of the Olympics, there's always a countdown to it. It's a lot of anticipation for it. The parade of nations, and the entertainment that brings in the culture. This slide represents, I'm sure you remember, Beijing, which was very beautiful opening ceremony, and the synchronized drummers that were part of that celebration. Then you have, obviously, the Olympic flag, very symbolic. The torch relay, which takes many days before the actual start of the Olympic Games. And finally, the lighting of the Olympic flame that burns throughout the ceremony. I think we all know that because we watch it and we talk about it. And we experience it through television and media. When I was an elementary school principal, I started with my staff an Olympic reading marathon that we would do every time there was a marathon. And we celebrated 26 days of reading. And what we did is we recreated an opening ceremony for the Olympics. We had a torch relay. We had, as you can see, Parade of Nations with our parade of classes, and each class coming up with their own individual banner. You can't see the stage and the area that was going to be reserved for the Olympic flame that would burn during our 26 days of reading. We had entertainment. The most memorable one was when the Olympics were in Beijing, and I was able to get from the Boston area a troupe, a dance troupe that came out and did the Chinese, the dragon dance with the drummers and the costume and weaving throughout the crowd. It was an experience for both the students and the staff. None of us had really experienced that part of the culture, so it was really wonderful. And then finally, who was going to light the Olympic flame? And we had Clifford, who came in and was able to light the flame on the stage that would burn. So it was an event, a memorable event. We only did it every time there was an Olympics, but it was something that students could remember because they could visualize it, they experienced it. And what I did, to be quite honest, is I took the lead in orchestrating a lot of it because my teachers were busy. I knew they didn't have a lot of time for things, so as much as could be prepared with volunteers from parents, I did, so that they would not have to do a lot to take away from what they were doing. And I think that's a key thing to think about as we look at the Year of Mercy. What can we do that's not requiring teachers to take away from what they are trying to do already within the program? They're trying to teach lessons, and we want to still maintain the program and the integrity of our programs, but we want to bring something else in. So we think of milestone events in the Catholic Church. The Pope's visit to the United States, certainly most recently, the election of a new Pope, the canonization of a new saint, encyclicals, a Jubilee year, and obviously this year an extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy. So we also have events, and I remember, and many of you probably do, the election of the Pope. After the death of Pope John Paul II, and obviously the ceremony that takes place around that, the cardinals meet to elect a new Pope. And I remember teaching my second grade religious education class at the time, and bringing in pictures and telling them what to look for, because we knew the cardinals would go into the Sistine Chapel. And the people waited. People outside the Vatican waited and watched. And what were they waiting for? A sign. They were looking for something that was going to be a sign of the election of a new Pope. Smoke. And obviously, from the black smoke that no, the vote did not result in a new Pope, to the white smoke and the cheers of people in the crowds, and then everyone, the anticipation of who is the next Pope, and then the appearance on the balcony overlooking the piazza of the Vatican. So, I think we're familiar with some milestone events within our Catholic Church. And this is another one that's going to take place. And something interesting that I found, first of all, as you know, it is called the Extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy. And there is a logo that was designed to go with it. But something interesting, if you haven't noticed this, that if you go to the official website for the Jubilee year, and you scroll down, did you know that there's a countdown to the Jubilee? Which I thought was kind of amusing when I first found that there's this countdown going on to the opening of this special year. So I think that's something to keep in mind. That think of the Olympics, same kind of thing, a countdown to Olympics, a countdown to our Jubilee year. Okay, so let me get back here. So what will we do? Probably as spectators. I think we're going to watch, listen, learn, maybe take part if something locally will be in our area. And then we can talk about it, and we can share those observations or experience with our students. I think that is the big thing. And although watch, listen, and learn seems very simple, I think we need to be interested in wanting to do that so that we'll have something to be able to share with our students. what's the importance? Okay, I think it comes down to what's going to happen. What will we see and what will we hear? What do I need to know? And then how can I talk about this with my students? Um, Keep in mind these questions here about what's going to happen. What will we see? What will we hear? Because I have some points I'm going to make, and actually I'm taking that right from um, grade 5 in Sadlier, so you'll see that in a minute. It's called, as I said, the Extraordinary Jubilee, but we may hear Jubilee Year or Holy Year of Mercy or Holy Year. So I think we need to keep in mind, and I think for our students, let them know we're talking about the same thing. What does extraordinary mean? It means it's not a usual one, an ordinary one. And the fact that it starts December 8th this year and goes until November 20th next year, keep in mind that it's going to be 2 school years. So if you're a catechetical leader, you're going to be celebrating the opening of it and the beginning of it, but you'll also, next year with new people, be celebrating the closing and watching the closing. So no matter what our role, whether we're a catechist, we may talk about it this year with our students, and if we move up with them next year, we'll be talking about it again in the beginning because it will be ending next November. So that's something to keep in mind. What's important about it? In the Pope's formal announcement, he said it's the time for mercy. We need to show mercy, and we need to know the mercy of God our Father as well. So what's going to happen? And again, about seeing, hearing, watching, listening. There's a calendar of events during the year, and if you wanted to find out what those are, you can do that by going to that website. But you can reference what will be in the papers, what we'll see. If you have diocesan newspapers that come out, I'm sure that they will be constantly keeping track of what's going to be happening. So it's more about being aware yourself. The reality check now for all of us, I think, is catechists are key to the success of a faith formation program and for Catholic school programs. Again, catechists and teachers are one and the same. They're doing something different when they're a catechist than what they're doing when they're teaching math, but they're still catechists. And they're key. They're already busy trying to instruct and give witness to the faith in the classes. I think we have to admit that catechists do a lot, and despite the fact that they try their best, there are obstacles in their way like snow days and bad weather days and cancellations, and sometimes trying to get done what they know they're supposed to do is a challenge. There's already too much. There isn't enough time to do everything without adding something else in. Catechists can't do everything. And less is more, but sometimes and usually we keep adding things without taking anything away. And simply telling catechists what they should be doing is not enough. So simply telling them that you're celebrating a year of mercy, you need to talk with your classes and your children. They need more than that, because this is something new, a new experience for students, new experience for us as adults. I don't remember myself the last Jubilee that we had some years ago. Believe me, I'm older, so I should remember, but I don't. But I probably was not involved at the time that it would mean anything, that I would have a real memory of it. So I think keep that in mind, this reality check. My name, John Collins, if I could put some middle names in, it would be John Realistic Practical Collins, because I'm trying to be very realistic about what can we really do that can be beneficial and successful. Catechists, they're already juggling, the 6 tasks of catechesis and behaviors and learning styles and the range and background of their students in terms of their Catholic faith and understanding, the time, and now, don't forget the Holy Year of Mercy. How am I going to fit that in? So what can you do? Excuse me. I think remember the theme, be merciful as your Father is merciful. A very simple theme. So God is merciful to us, we should show mercy to others. Read about events. Watch TV news about the events. And listen for key words that can connect to your text. Again, watch, listen, learn, maybe take part if something might be happening in your diocese or your area, because that could be the case, and then talk about it. Share your observations or experience with your students. Be interested yourself, because if you're not interested, you can't make it interesting for students. Be aware of the events so that you can call attention to them in your classroom without having to take a whole class to teach about the Holy Year. It's almost like thinking of yourself as a tour guide during the Holy Year, pointing out what's happening, when it happens. But again, it's not, you can't just tell students. They need to see it, they need to be able to visualize it, they need to hear about it, maybe a video clip of something perhaps. It's not just about the words, because some of the language is going to be different. In your books, when you have mercy and forgiveness themes, highlight those and make the connection to the Holy Year of Mercy. Be enthusiastic so that you can inform and motivate your class. As I mentioned, display pictures, headlines, perhaps a bulletin board. Now, whether or not this is in a teacher for a classroom, or if it's in a hall where all of the children enter in a certain common area, where is there a display that can be there, not just for students, but as parents are bringing in, it can be something for parents as well. If you have a prayer table in your classroom, putting a sign or a picture on your prayer table during the whole year. Maybe in a picture frame that can stand up, and I have some sample pictures of things I took so I can show you, my thoughts on what you can do there. Have the scriptural theme in your classroom all year to call attention to that during the year. Again, calling attention and pointing things out is not taking a whole class to do it. I think you can bring enhancements to your lessons, like the enhancements in the Sadlier program already. In grades K to 6, we have those boxes, those enhancements as Catholics. In grades 7 and 8, we live our faith. In those books, Catholic identity. And they pop up at every lesson, and what they contain are, I like to call, pieces of tradition, pieces of our faith, that can be read, or as the catechist, the teacher, can be told, did you know? A lot of these are did you know, or when you go to Mass this week, why don't you look forward, did you know? Calling attention to things. So these enhancements that are in your book already, I think that talking about the Holy Year is going to be kind of like these enhancements as well too. So again, as the catechist, the teacher, seeing, hearing, watching, listening, learning, and sharing with students. Here are some simple questions like these as talking points with a picture or newspaper article. Did you know? Did you see the Pope when he, or I saw on the news? Do you know that, or do you know what? This week, such and such is going to happen. On Wednesday, see if you can watch for it. Look at this picture I saw on the paper. Have you seen this, the picture of the holy door that's going to be opened? Look at these people. Do you know what they are doing? These types of questions can prompt some curiosity, hopefully, and some interest from students. But it's basically what's going to be happening, bringing these to the attention of our students. Listen for new or unfamiliar Catholic language or vocabulary. Um, Mercy is a vocabulary word, so what does mercy mean? Jubilee is a new word. And that, again, connecting it, as I did at the beginning slides with students, connecting it to, do you have any grandparents who've been married for 25 years or 50 years? You know people who've been married, they celebrate their anniversary, they celebrate a jubilee every 25 years. I think those are the ways we can make vocabulary understandable to students. Holy doors, pilgrimage and pilgrims. We're going to hear that mentioned. The word indulgence or indulgences, basilica, papal basilica, in reference to holy doors. Mostly you'll hear that, I think, but there's going to be some new language that, again, they can be enhancements as we bring that new vocabulary in with a, hopefully, picture and explanation for the students. I'm going to use grade 5 as a model here. In grade 5, we have Sharing Faith with My Family, which is a reproducible, chapter reproducible at the back of the teacher manual. So you'll have those in the back of the teacher manual. Excuse me. You may have used some of them already. They're also available online. And in grade 5, when you have a lesson on a sacrament, there are sacrament trading cards. And as I tell people when I do my presentations, the 5th graders are not probably going to trade these cards at all. However, what's on the cards are so concise and perfect for summarizing important facts about the sacraments. This one is the penance. What's the importance of the sacrament? What do we see? What do we hear? And who leads us in the celebration? And for every sacrament, those same questions come up. And as a way to kind of focus on the important aspects of a sacrament. And I think if you remember my initial slide about the Jubilee, and I had those questions, what do we see and what do we hear? And so in thinking of the extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy, what's the importance of this event? What will we see? What will we hear? And what will we learn? So I adapted or modified that 5th grade idea a little bit. But I think this is what it comes down to. What's the importance of it? That we need mercy, as the Pope says. It's the time for mercy, to show forgiveness as God forgives us. What will we see? We're going to see the holy doors open. We'll see probably a special Mass. We'll see the Pope opening those actual doors from the inside, and something I've never seen. So these are the kinds of things that hopefully we can share with our students. And what are we going to hear? What words are we going to hear? Some of that language. And what are we going to learn? I think a lot of this is going to play out through this whole year. But I think something to keep in mind is, this can be a one-shot deal. We mention it and it's over and done with. But it's a year-long event. And so how can we keep the ball rolling, so to speak? So in the handout that I did, the correlation to mercy, as I said, I looked at grades K through 8 to try and see what are some of the connections that we can make with what we're teaching already. And I am only going to show one page of it. I'm not going to spend the time today. I have some more interesting things to share with you. But here's what 4th grade looks like, for instance. And you can see the second column shows what lessons there is a certain theme or topic. Lesson 2 is about the Beatitudes. And certainly, blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown. It's right there. The Beatitudes are also in the booklet at the back of the book for students. Grade 3, lesson 3 rather, Sin in Our World, the Good Samaritan. That story comes up a lot. Um, grade 5 about penance and reconciliation. And I think a lot of what we learn about God's mercy, we learn through Jesus. Jesus teaches us about the Father. And so how Jesus shows mercy is how our Father shows mercy. And I think that's key for our students. I've indicated, some actual sentences where mercy is referenced. And the way I did it is I'd have it for parish programs or for school programs because their books were different because of the 5-day format. So lesson 11 is about the third commandment, and it also has the spiritual and corporal works of mercy. So those are coming in as well. And then Catholic Identity Retreat for grade 4. For those of you who might be looking at retreats, this one is about the sacraments of healing. So we're going to talk about God's love and forgiveness and healing. So that's what it will look like. And each grade level is different. Some grades, as you go up the grades, there's many more references. And so how can you use this? Well, here's one suggestion. The DREs and principles give teachers the connection for their grade level. Okay. But then give them some small post-its. Maybe I would say even take time at a staff meeting after school and make it doable, where they bring their manuals, give them a bright color post-it, and have them put the post-its on the pages right now where they will be able to make a connection to the Holy Year of Mercy. So, for instance, here's an example. I bought, some post-its, small size, regular size, and this happens to be the 4th grade book. And I put post-its on all of those lessons in the teacher manual that I just referenced right here. Those lessons, I put post-its on those pages in the teacher manual. And the Leader's Guide to the Retreats has one for the retreat that I mentioned. So that as teachers go through the year, when they come up with and I put the bright magenta for mercy, M for M, I tried to use some alliteration there, I guess. So when they come to that page, they will know that there is a connection because, like everything else, papers get put aside, we forget, and it may not happen. So how do you structure it to happen? The same thing is true with catechists. How do we help catechists to put some post-its on some pages so when they get to those pages, they will be able to make references to the Holy Year of Mercy and the word mercy and what it means and how God shows his love and mercy, which is what the whole year is about. God's love and mercy, and then our being asked to also show mercy. So there's one approach on how you can do it. You certainly can just give them the handout and say, here's where you can make a connection, but I think if you want to be more intentional about it, I think then it can happen for people. But then think again, as I said, next year you'll need to do it again perhaps because the Holy Year will continue next year and it will be ending on November 20th, 2016. So it may be something to do again at the beginning of the year, or certainly using the handout at the beginning of the year, reminding teachers in the lessons from September through the end of the year anyway, that there will be more references that they can make. Especially in parish programs, a lot of catechists move up with their children, so there'll be a whole new book with whole different references for them. Here's, again, some other simple things to do. And I want to say that up to this point, I think I've stressed, hopefully, that within what we're doing, we can make connections. And from what we see, what we hear, what we watch, we can then talk to it to students and be the enhancement during the lesson without having to take away time. Here are some other suggestions of things that you could do, very simply. On the left is a picture of what my prayer table would look like in my classroom. Um, and on the right, you can't see it too clearly, but what it is, I went online and found a picture of the Holy Door at the Vatican, and it's actually 8.5 by 11, and I put on the top of it, the Extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy, a Holy Year with the dates, and it's actually in an acrylic stand-up frame, so that if I were teaching, and I think I'm approaching this webinar from the perspective, if I were teaching, what would I do? This, very simply, you could take this and put it on your prayer table so that every week there's a reference to the Holy Year. It's going to be there as just a visual reminder that it's a different year that we're in. So there's one kind of simple way just to add something to your prayer table. And then I think, no, it's got to be more than that. Remember, I did an opening and closing ceremony for Olympics and made it memorable. And I think I want to try to make things memorable too. So start with a threefold. These are the science, display boards that you can buy in craft stores and so forth. Staples, they all have them. Start with one of those. And then what I did was I went online, I found the pictures, the actual pictures from the Holy Door, and to be honest, I laminated them. I have a personal laminator, a small one that I got at BJ's or something. I laminated the pictures, and then I just attached them or glued them down on the panels of the trifold board. So the board is closed. I took some velvet ribbon. You can see around the middle. I found a picture online, a clip art of a lock, just to show that the door is closed. It's locked. All right. And this is about, these boards, they're probably about maybe 3 feet tall, 3.5 feet tall, whatever. This one actually I got, and it's actually foam board, so it's a little sturdier. Since I'm going to be doing some presentations upcoming, it'll be traveling a little bit with me around here in New England, so I wanted to make it durable so it would last. But once the doors are open to begin the year, then if you open the panels, then here's what I did. The one I bought actually had the sign that you could put at the top if you were doing a project. And so I just got stick-on letters, Extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy, a Holy Year of Mercy. And keep in mind that the outside of those two side panels are the doors that have been opened. And this then could be an area where you could start to, put newspaper articles, pictures, important dates. You could put a copy of the prayer, the Holy Father's prayer for mercy, picture of the logo, definition of mercy, pictures of people showing mercy. It could be your bulletin board. Now, would a catechist teaching week to week be able to do this? It depends upon your situation. It might not work. This would be certainly, even on a little bigger scale, something that would welcome everyone into a hallway. Maybe all your classes would be there the first day it was opened, and you talk about that in your program. And every week there's something there, not just for students to see as they come in, but parents as well. But again, what could be doable in a classroom? Same idea. I used a piece of 9 by 12 construction paper, so not the small kind, 9 by 12. Actually, it was oak tag, a little sturdier. And what I did is I folded it in half, and then I folded the two sides in so I could get the trifold. I took that same picture that I put in a frame and just glued it to the front, and then cut it down the middle so that it can open as well. And this could be something that you could put on your prayer table, perhaps. And inside, again, not too big, space is limited, but you could certainly put certain things, picture of the logo, a prayer, the definition of mercy, but it could be part of possibly a bulletin board or just something so the kids know that a door has been opened and what's inside is what we're going to learn as we live the year of mercy. Again, same thing. You could do it on legal size paper. So the other was construction 9 by 12. This is legal size. Same thing. Just get the picture so it will fit, cut it, and then again you've got a door that can open so that you can get the students, especially younger children, to see that it is a door that opens. I did see, I think there's going to be lots of ideas out there with different people online. Watch what's there. Keep it simple, but keep it sacred too. I saw one idea somewhere where they were talking about making a door with streamers. I don't know that that's the way to go. Streamers have nothing to do with a door, and it's streamers is party for me. So I try to keep it sacred too. Pope Francis used this quote when he spoke at Youth Day, World Youth Day in 2013, and I think it speaks to all of us in terms of what this whole year is about. The church needs you, your enthusiasm, your creativity, and the joy that's so characteristic of you. That's what's going to be part of our celebration of the whole year with our students. Our enthusiasm, a little bit of creativity, and but certainly being excited about something with the kids so they can see it's worthy to be excited about. I do want to mention Catholic Identity Links for some of you that may not be familiar with it, but there's a bonus here for you, so don't click off yet. This is a program that focuses on 52 virtues and values. It's separate. It's an online program. It's a supplement or something supplementary to add to what you do. But what's interesting is there is the virtue mercy that is on one of these 52 virtues and values. And if you go to the Sadlier website, www.sadlier.com/religion, a couple of things here. The top banner on this website is about taking care of God's creation, and this follows up with the Pope's recent encyclical. It was about families when we had the World Day of Families, World Meeting of Families, and very soon I'm sure this is going to have to do with the Holy Year of Mercy. So this changes. So watch for that to be some resources for you. But if you go here to I'm going to go to parish programs. You could go to school programs. And you look down here to Catholic Identity Links. And you say you want a sample. The preview that they have as a sample right now is Mercy. So I don't know if this is going to let me go. You have to log on, but you will have sample of the activities and connections with the word mercy. This poster right here could be great for putting on my my door, my Holy Year door. It talks about what mercy is. So if you want to, you can go to the website and get that as a sample. I think you can get a couple other ones as well, but certainly I think it was wonderful for all of us that Sadlier made this their sample with the Year of Mercy coming forward very soon. So take advantage of that. There are different links on there for catechists, for teachers, principals, for the pastor. So it can be more than just a program. It can be the whole parish. And again, this has to do with caring, but right now you can get the sample, which has to do with mercy, which I think is great. And so I think the extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy will soon be here. And I think that we can make connections um, within our program very simply. And hopefully today uh, I've given some ideas, and I believe it will be the link or the connection, or it's going to be emailed out to the correlation that can be used with catechists, teachers in schools, as ways to help the catechists to bring this to their lesson as an enhancement, not compromising what we're doing, but keeping the ball rolling through the year, that this is a special event. Um, and again, my post-it idea might be one way to do it with people. Remember, they just can't be told. They're very busy, whether they're catechists week to week or Catholic school teachers, they're all very busy trying to do their best. So as catechetical leaders, how can we help them to do their best by making these available to them, but also, again, putting the post on the page is just taking it that one step further so that it's going to be there and, oh, that's right, there's something here that I can make a connection to Mercy on. It will help them along. So I thank you all for joining me today. I hope that this has been beneficial, practical, doable for you. I think this is going to be an exciting time for all of us to watch. And again, who knows what we might be able to experience in our local areas, something that may actually be happening close by us. We'll have to wait and see. So I think if there are any questions, I think David's going to open it up to some questions perhaps now.
Yes, thank you so much, John, for the presentation. It was very helpful, very informative, and you're very creative as well. Like you know how to, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, oh man,
that's the teacher in me.
Absolutely. I'm like, you can give this man anything. He can build you whatever you need.
I'm still trying to get a bigger door.
Really? Well, if you get a bigger door, you need to come back and have another webinar to teach us how you. So we definitely want to thank you, first of all. And second of all, if you have any questions, you can please send them out now. While you're getting your questions ready, I want to just let everyone know, because normally these are questions that happen after the webinar. If you do not get a certificate by Friday, because I believe that people that attended today will get a certificate. If you do not get one by Friday, please contact me, and I will make sure that you get that. But so far, we have no questions. I guess you were that good, John. You explained. You were.
Well, I have a question for you though. The correlation document, is that going to be emailed out to people too?
Well, as far as I know, I believe it will be. I already saw it on the system, and I believe that everybody that registered for the webinar will get that.
Okay.
Yes. So if you don't get that, also please email me, and I will make sure, because John also did an amazing job getting that done as well. So we want to make sure that each of you benefit from everything that we have to offer, so that you can do your job better. Wow, this is amazing. I'm amazed. There's no questions, John. Let me see. Oh, no, wait a minute. Let me see. There you go. Well, Kathy Hendrick says that Sadler blogs also have resources on Mercy as well. That is very true. Very true. We can. That's also, please. Can you repeat how to get that link on Sadler?
Let me go backwards here.
Yep. Oh, he can even go backwards. Look at this.
And actually, I'm going to go back again and show, because this is where you would go for. There are resources right there, and here are your blogs. Kathy does write one of the blogs.
Yes, she wrote a beautiful one on the mercy and goodness.
Yes.
So,
yes. So this website is so valuable for everybody, but certainly if you are not getting the blogs, go there and sign up for them, because you do get great information about the program support but also you get some great ideas for things that are happening right now, that you can bring into your classrooms as well.
Mm. Well, just so you know, John, Leanna Ferrer is going to use your open door idea for her classroom.
Well, that's great. That's
Yes,
great.
yes. Mike Stratman says, what was the Jubilee website link?
The Jubilee website link. All right. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Just gotta go back here. There it is, right there. That's the official one.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully Matt is writing that down. Let me also type it here for him. It's www. There.
And I'm sure, and even Googling it, you're going to get the official website that way too.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's have another. Let me see here. We have another question. Can we get the picture for the prayer table by email?
The picture of the prayer table. Do you mean the picture? Do you mean the picture of the Holy Door? You can Google.
Sure.
You can Google Holy Door,
right.
Vatican, which is what I did, and you can get those right online. You can Google for images, and you can just get that online.
Alrighty.
So
Liana also said, yeah. Liana said that she said, I know how you can create a bigger door. Use the classroom doors. The back of the door can have the dates and information.
Right. And the other thing that you can do, I have some presentations in this area up in New England I'm doing, but one suggestion for younger children, if you are working with younger children, create a door that doesn't have the actual images from the Holy Door. Your Holy Door can be color book pages from like the life of Christ, or they can be coloring book pages that are from a trip through the Bible, so from creation through Pentecost, and they can be different pictures if you want to create your own door that can be more understandable for the kids. And with older kids, if there is opportunity for exploring more about their faith and they have time, you can certainly look and research what are those images that are on that holy door. So there's options in there for other things too.
Beautiful. All right. This is here. Teresa says, her question is, in your example of the doors, you mentioned using pics, dates, prayers, logo, etc. Would you recommend pics of the classes doing works of mercy?
Oh, absolutely. You could, part of your keeping track of things could be, you know, either classroom official projects where what works of mercy, or again, it could be making connecting chains. That if every week if you do a work of mercy, you write it on a chain and you can start making a chain in the room. Again, the idea is trying to keep it simple for people because you don't want to take too much time away from the regular things. So, relating to works of mercy that the children are actually doing and practicing is great. Bring those ideas in, and you can kind of keep track of that as well.
Great. All right, let me look for a couple more here.
I think people are starting to think themselves, oh, what could we do? What could I do?
Right.
And which is good.
Any ideas on how to get the parents actively involved?
I think that's where you need a big door. I think if parents, most most programs, parents, especially with safety concerns these days, parents are bringing their children into a hall, a lobby, somewhere. There's a perfect teachable moment in there where parents are there. They're coming in, and what's there for them to see? We would like to think that they're watching TV and going to be watching this as we are, but that may not be the case with sports and everything else that we watch on TV. But I think there's a perfect opportunity for them to walk in, and maybe perhaps on that opening day, or the opening weeks following the official opening, you know as parents bring their kids in, letting them know that, at 10 minutes we'll have an information session so you know what's happening with the Year of Mercy that we're talking about, trying to get into the bulletin, maybe a special flyer that the children will take home, that because just as we are going to be learning new words and vocabulary and language, the parents of our children are learning those new words or reconnecting with language that they're not familiar with. So I think we have to keep in mind that they're learners as well. They need to benefit from visuals and things like that too.
Perfect. So, for the pictures of the images of the door, people can just Google these images, right?
They can look for images, yes. That's
Google
where I got them.
images of Holy Door, right?
Yep, the Holy Door.
Let me just write this down for everyone because they're asking me this. I guess they really want to use them, so I'm going to send it to everybody so they all have it. Alrighty. So I sent that out. So just in case, I sent out a message to everyone with my personal email. So if by Friday you do not receive the correlation or certificate, please feel free to email me. I typed in the box here my email address so that everyone who is on right now should get it in their question box. There's a question box there at the bottom. You should see it there. If you do not see it, please let me know. But my email is, dbisono@sadlier.com. So D as in David, and B as in boy, I, S as in Sam, O, N as in Nancy, O @sadlier.com. So if you email me there, if by Friday you have not received the correlation or your certificate, please email me so that I can make sure that you get that. Okay, let me see what else I have here. This is Ashley, are there certain pictures that we should include should we choose for the kids to create it?
If you Google the Holy Door of Mercy and images, I can't remember what site it was, but you can actually, it tells you what the image is of each of those, the Annunciation, this crucifixion. So it does tell you what the image is. And then you could use, another, color page that you might have or something. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. I said, and again, for younger children, it could be pictures the life of Jesus. But it's that you're creating an image to recreate what's happening far away from where the kids are, and you want them just to get some idea of what this is all about. So I don't know the images having to be actually the same, have to be, but one of the websites, you'll find it will tell you what the image is on every door. So you can actually try to find that picture if you want to,
Just also something else just to add for everyone that's listening. This webinar will be available on our website in our webinar section by tomorrow. So by tomorrow afternoon, this webinar will also be available again. So in case you want to hear it again or even share with someone, you can come back tomorrow afternoon and it will be in our webinar section on the Sadlier website. And besides this amazing webinar, we also have other amazing webinars. Kathy Hendricks had an amazing webinar just a few weeks ago that is also there as well. So I typed it in the question box with the link so that everyone can have that. But in case you did not get it, just let me know, and I will just make sure that you get that link before you leave today, because that way you can come back later on. Because I know sometimes, I don't know if it happens to you, John, but sometimes you hear a webinar or a teaching and you can't catch everything on the first listen.
Oh.
You have to go back and kind of like take it slower or at your own pace.
Always second time, third time around, you pick up things you missed the first time.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that's why at Sadlier we have that option where you can come back to the webinar section on the Sadlier website, and that way you can, listen to it at your leisure, and you can pause it, make a sandwich, come back, continue, So that's what the beauty of this. Okay, what about, this is Mary Cassidy says, what about home activities on the Year of Mercy students can do with parents? I'm sure there's some suggestions, like what can they do with their parents at home?
I think exactly things I suggested. Watch, listen, see what's going to be on TV, and I'm sure a lot of things will be promoted by the media on TV, especially opening ceremonies and rituals and so forth. I think it's just trying to, as you are the tour guide, guiding people through the year, calling to their attention if something special is going to be happening in the upcoming week, sending a little home, watch Thursday night because such and such is going to happen, or I think calling it to their attention, and just maybe relating, again, a note to parents, what you're doing in your own classroom. When I was a second grade catechist, I taught for 10 years, I sent a note home every week. In addition to the family, activity page, dear parents, this is what we did this week. Please do, review prayers, and those notes to parents. Sometimes little half sheets, very simple. Sometimes, help them to understand what's going on. So I think just keeping them in the loop as well too would be a good idea. But I don't know, home activities. I don't know. Kids are so busy as it is now with homework and schoolwork.
Right.
I don't think we want to burden them with activities, but I think if we can call attention to something that's going to be happening they should watch, I think we certainly can do that.
Yes. I like that thing about being tour guides,
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. I think we need to get those hats, though, because I really want a hat. I want a hat. I'm sorry. Here we have Beth that says, some dioceses have their own holy doors. You can use those images as well. That's a good idea as well, I think.
That's right. And I believe, that as this happens, that those holy doors will be designated, and focused on in your diocese. So again, great idea, and thank you for mentioning that certain dioceses have churches with designated holy doors as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let me see if there's one more. Jean says, can you go back to the Pope's quote in Rio de Janeiro?
Okay. Let's see, that was towards the end. That one there, I think, is probably what she wants.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, and again, it was to youth, but I think
Right.
It's to all of us. I really do.
Yes, it is. At least I think so as well. Let me see. Liana says, you can also make connections at home by asking younger kids to identify a work of mercy on their favorite TV show. For older kids, they can watch the news or online newspaper and do the same assignment. I think Liana got something here.
Great. Yep.
Yeah. Can you share where there is an official prayer for the Year of Mercy?
If you go to the official website, the official prayer is there. Um, it's a long one. It's long. I do not think it would be the one you would probably use with little children, but
Right.
you can take from it. But I think there's key parts about it. There's about 3 different sentences that I found that can be used with young children, and the idea um, that Jesus shows us the Father. Um,
Mm.
I think that's important, and Jesus shows us God's love in forgiveness. And I think that's what we teach, and that's what comes out of when we learn about mercy. We learn that it's through Jesus we learn about God's mercy. So I think there are certain lines you could pull out for younger children, but it's a long prayer. But you can get it on the official website.
And so the official website, it's a long website?
No, it's a long prayer. The prayer is a
Oh, it's a long,
lengthy
okay, the long prayer,
prayer.
okay. So, so the website it's on the official website. I should go there and,
Yeah.
um,
And
okay,
something, and just as a point of curiosity for people as we kind of wind down here, when you look at the logo, you probably didn't notice it. Um, the website talks about the logo. If you notice the image of the Father and the Son there are only 3 eyes.
mm,
There are not 4 eyes, and there are not 2 sets of eyes, which was intentional on the part of the artist. And I'm not going to tell you about that because that could be something exciting and interesting for you to look yourself to find out why is that the logo.
right. All right, so I think we can just, I mean, I don't know if you have a few closing words to say before we,
I just want to again thank people for taking the time out of their day because um, I think it shows our desire to want to make something special happen within our classrooms and our programs. This is going to be very unusual. It's extraordinary, as is the official word, extraordinary jubilee of mercy. And I think we want to bring it to the attention of our students because this is part of our Catholic tradition, our Catholic faith, and it's something we don't see. Um, and I think so. How can we make it visible to kids? What do we see and what do we hear are going to be the key things I think for us to live the year of mercy.
alrighty, well, John, thank you so much.
You're
God
most
bless you.
welcome.
You're a blessing. You're a blessing, and I'm
Thank you.
by the thank yous and the conversation we're having here, like people just don't want to go, but all good things must come to an end.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yes.
so thank you so much, John, and thank you everyone who took part of the webinar. Please remember to continue to go back to the webinar section on the Sadlier Religion website. By tomorrow afternoon, this particular webinar should be available. Go back, listen to it, share it, and also take advantage of the other webinars that we also have there. I am sure that that your spiritual life will be highly enriched and blessed by them. So God bless you all, and just little plug-in. On Thursday we have another webinar. So if you have not yet registered for that one, please register. It will be another. It will also be at 4 o'clock, and I'm pretty sure you will also enjoy it. So God bless you, and John, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.